What's up, y'all? Onwards to a new video. First off, shout out to my brother. He visited. He was originally gonna move in with me, but decided to move in with his girlfriend, and he gave me this chair. Obviously, it's a gaming chair, and I don't game, but I was using a fucking kitchen chair for all my videos and shit. That's he was trying to say this. He doesn't really want it because it's a little uncomfortable, and I'm just like, motherfucker, I was using a kitchen chair. Fucking hard as shit. But anyway, yeah, new chair. And obviously my room's still a mess. I think I said this in the last video, but yeah, I'm unmotivated to build these cubicle shelves I bought right when I moved here because um over 2 months without a turntable, it's just kind of like, nah, I'm not in a rush. So my room's a mess. I definitely still got to put up some posters, some records on the wall, to make my videos look way cooler, obviously. I think they look the best with my room from 2 rooms ago because you could see it all in the background. The room last time was kind of like to the side, so you couldn't see anything. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put some behind me, and yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to look for this dough type shit. I forgot what it's called, like blue tack or something, I think it's called. And you can it doesn't put holes in the wall because the room I was renting last time, there's all these little holes in the wall. And the room before that, there was, but it wasn't near as noticeable. So no one would have said anything. But for some reason, the type of walls I had in the last room, all of them left these little, they're kind of noticeable. They weren't massive or anything, but I put some toothpaste in some of them. So, but anyway. So this video, we're going over 5 records in terms of black metal and Black and Death of my favorite vocal performance. And we're going in order to my favorite from 5 being, I don't want to say my least favorite, like there's anything wrong with it. I still really love all these albums, but least favorite to favorite being number 1. And it was like, oh yeah, it's subjected to change. I'd say besides the top 2, 3, probably 3, I could very well, change, my mind on some. But I think the top 2 or 3 are definitely more set in stone. So yeah, we'll get at it. The first one is a war metal band, Black and Death, whatever. Besides the point, I usually consider war metal like a niche type of Black and Death because, you have like Goatwhore, Angel Corpse, or Belphegor, who I recently saw, which is, Black and Death realm. Even Archgoat, I consider that, but they're like Black and Death versus specific war metal, obviously Blasphemy, fucking Ouroboros and shit like that. That's like war metal. But anyway, I just wanted to be a little more oddly specific for no reason. But yeah, the first one we're going over is Conqueror, War Cult Supremacy, their only full length, their debut full length. And obviously Nuclear War Now pressed this. Well, when was it? About 2 years ago, actually. That's crazy. Time fucking flies. So I remember it was right before summer 2023, around April or May. So yeah, almost 2 years ago. That's fucking crazy. It really feels like 6 months ago at best. But yep, Conqueror, show you guys the vinyl and the art. Jay Reed and the other dude, forgot his name. And I'll show you guys the variant I got. Obviously there's only 2 variants, but the one I got, the variant, which was limited to 100 copies, if I'm not mistaken, or at least that's what Yoski said, which I believe him. Got the blood red right there, super vibrant, super beautiful, very bloody. But yeah, I mean, Conqueror, man, I feel like this record in particular, maybe you consider the demo before this, but War Cult Supremacy, when I first heard that, I actually heard Revenge before Conqueror, but we'll just consider it as one in this specific scenario. But I heard that, and I remember I heard it right when I was getting into black metal, within the first 6 months, and I didn't know what to think of it, because I was still relatively new to a lot of more extreme metal. I was a massive fan of old school death metal and gore grind, grindcore, even though gore grind is kind of hard to listen to, but war metal and traditional black metal is hard to listen to in other ways if it's someone who's slowly getting into it. So I guess it depends on who you ask. But I remember I heard that and I liked it, but it was hard to process at first because it's very chaotic. It's obviously super pummeling, super heavy. And yeah, eventually I backtracked and listening to Reed's first project, Conqueror, and yeah, man, I mean, it's just this vocal take specifically, I feel like influenced a lot of war metal bands after. They're just it's just done in a very, like I said, chaotic, destructive, explosive way. They're super strong, super powerful, and all over the place. I mean, I feel like this album in particular, like, showcased a lot of the potential we'd get on Revenge, and I would say this is just as good as Revenge, but maybe a little grimier. At least some Revenge albums and more raw. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite vocal takes in black metal, war metal, whatever. Let's see, how many songs do we have? We have 9 tracks. Some of my favorites would be Chaos Domination, Bloodhammer, Hammer of Antichrist might actually be my favorite. But they're all relatively consistent, you know. So yeah, I definitely rank this number 5. Obviously, the album art's iconic. I'm lucky enough to get a shirt from that. I got that from NWN a couple years ago. Love repping the Conqueror in the gym at shows and stuff like that. I remember I wore my Conqueror shirt to a I Hate God show about, yeah, more like a year and a half ago. It was like late 2023, and I remember this one dude who I still have on Instagram came up to me and he's like, "Oh shit, you like war metal, blah blah blah." You know, this was like a sludge metal show, and you know, I feel like a good amount of black metal fans listen to sludge metal, vice versa. It's definitely more likely if you're a black metal fan to listen to sludge than like fucking grindcore or some shit. But yeah, I remember we made that connection and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely like repping my War Cult Supremacy shirt. Yeah, like I said, this is ranked number 5, and this doesn't mean I have anything negative to say about it or anything. I just, the album's coming after this. I just might like the vocal take a bit better. So we'll get to the next next one is a Finnish black metal band. Obviously, like I talk a lot about a lot of Finnish bands, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard me say this. The Finnish scene is one of my favorites. I think even in this day and age, it's the most pure, the most consistent. But the Finnish band I'm about to go over is it's an older Finnish band. It's early 90s, so right after Norway started, around the times of Beherit and stuff like that. We'll get to it. It is Impaled Nazarenes Urja Karma, their sophomore full length, and I believe this came out the same year as their debut, Tor Korp Nors Nors, however you say that. And how many tracks does it come with? What is this? 12 tracks. The Apple Music version I heard, the first has like 2 bonus tracks, which I have one of them on a 7, but I wish it came with this. But I guess that's technically not the full length. That's just whatever Apple Music started. But the song on here, it'll be pretty obvious. The song on here, what really made me appreciate Mika's vocals, Mika, right? It's either Mika or Mika. I'm pretty sure it's Mika. But the Horny and the Horned, I mean, that vocal take is super fucking just vile, hateful, aggressive. And it's definitely, oh, my mouth's a bit dry. It's definitely a less, or how you say, it's different in the aggressiveness of Conqueror or most war metal. It's definitely more so in its own unique way, because I'd also say it's different than a lot of those Norwegian and Swedish bands from the early 90s, because I'm sure a lot of you know Impaled Nazarene, at least when they first started, especially 90s Impaled Nazarene, they were trying to be as different as possible than the Norway scene specifically. And like you could argue, I mean, I'd say early Impaled Nazarene especially has like grindcore elements, even some death metal elements. You can even say thrash in certain songs. They liked mixing a bunch of heavy genres together, but obviously I'd say primarily black metal, and a lot of their post 2000s and above is definitely more black metal. I'd definitely say their first 4 or 5 records definitely have the most like grindcore and some slight death metal elements. But with this case, we're just going to say it's in my top 5 of black metal take on vocals. Weather songs, Soul Rape, Kali Yuga, Chaos Goatlaw, Hate, Sadhu Satana is obviously a good one. Cyberchrist I like. If I had to say my top 3 songs on this album and really showcasing Mika's vocals, I'd probably go with The Horny and the Horned, Hate. Let me look through these. Probably Sadhu Satana. Yeah, that's what I'd probably say. Like I said, when I first heard this, the first Impaled Nazarene album I actually heard, which is right when I got into black metal, was it was their 2006 album. It's somewhere in the mid 2000s. It had This Castrated World, Goat something. Fuck, I remembered it right before I made this video, but of course I fucking forgot. Goat Sodomy. It has that song, and yeah, that was actually the first Impaled Nazarene song or album I ever heard, and I really liked it. Honestly, I'd heard none of their '90s shit, and it's kind of surprising. I mean, not really, since I'm younger and like I wasn't around, during the peak. So it's kind of, I'm sure a lot of people my age or younger, will like listen to a random album by a band because they've made so many at this point. But yeah, eventually I backtracked, and I think the second album I actually got into was their debut, and I actually bought the vinyl. I blind bought it, and yeah, I heard that, and it showed me a more, I guess you could say amateur, but also a little more humor. Well, I guess they've always been a bit humor, but have a lot of humor, but it showed me a different side, I guess I'm trying to say, and the vocals were definitely crazy on that. Obviously, they use some voice tools, but it still sounds pretty fucking badass. I mean, the fucking animal cage part, the orgy part, it's all relatively funny and really blasphemous and heavy at the same time. So, and yeah, then I eventually followed up with this album after, and yeah, I heard it on Apple Music. Well, I remember I was working a delivery job, and I'm like, whoa, this is probably my favorite album I've ever heard. It's probably my favorite take on Mika's vocals. They're just super fucking vile and blasphemous, like I said. And the album after this, Suomi Perkele, if I'm saying that right, and yeah, I think the vocals are similar on this, but I think they're perfected on this. And I like pretty much every Impaled Nazarene album I've heard. Haven't heard some of the recent ones, but yeah, definitely this album, I think, showcases Mika's vocals in perfection. And I think I might have found a way to get a boot with the original cover. I do like this cover, but obviously people know I like the original one way better, and I think I found somewhere with a boot. So I'm definitely gonna make a video on that eventually. But yeah, so show you guys some of the work. Got a big Impaled Nazarene logo. Yeah, so apparently with the original logo, I'll show you guys the LP. The original logo, mouth's so fucking dry. Apparently some girl, I think I'm cool with her. I think she lives in Finland. I thought it was maybe just some type of, book or something, but it's actually a book of like a Hindu cult from, I believe it was somewhere in Asia or somewhere around there. It makes sense, right? And apparently it was like a Hindu cult, and they got mad that they used that without permission, or maybe they knew they wouldn't have said yes and they used it anyway. I don't really know, but yeah, that's why they had to make this cover right here. But yeah, just know I'm definitely gonna acquire a boot with the better artwork. Luckily I have a shirt with it on, but that's not enough. But yeah, this is just a black LP, nothing special, but it does the job. It's a fucking record after all. On to the next. What's up, y'all? So now we're on rank 3. So Conqueror was rank 5, Impaled Nazarenes Urge of Karma was rank 4. So now we're on rank 3, third place. So this is where I might say that it starts to be like official. And obviously, unless I were to hear something that blew me away even more. I mean, there's a lot of classics I haven't heard, more obscure classics. I've heard some, but there's a lot I know of that I haven't heard. So like I said, maybe even the top 3 could change one day, but these 3, when it comes to vocals and music, not just vocals, obviously, and the riffs, the drums are obviously priority. But yeah, I mean, maybe one day I'll hear something that'll take one of these top 3 away, but it's been like this for a few years now, or maybe even longer, so we'll get to it. The third place band is a French black metal band that everybody should fucking know by now, whether you hate them or love them, whatever. It is their sophomore record, and my favorite record by them, it is Folk Fuck Folly by Commando Peste Noire, or Peste Noire for short. That's obviously what a lot of people call them. I just think Commando sounds really cool saying like the full thing. See, and I'll show you guys the variant in a sec. And yeah, this was a long-awaited repress. This record was released a year after their debut in 2007, and I believe the first vinyl pressing of this album wasn't until 2010, because Obviously, late 90s and maybe even the first decade of the 2000s or a little before, CDs took over, and even more popular bands like Marilyn Manson or Typo Negative never had official pressings. Like Marilyn Manson's The High of Low that came out in 2009. There's never been an official vinyl pressing. And obviously, he's a millionaire. And Typo Negative's Life is Killing Me didn't have an official vinyl pressing until last year, or maybe it was 2023. I know I have it. It's last year or the year before. I think I pre-ordered it in late 2023 and it arrived early last year. But besides the point, that came out in like 2003 or 4, so 20 years later. And obviously Typo Negative wasn't as big as Manson by any means, but that's how vinyl was not popular at the time. It was all CDs. But anyway, so yeah, that might be why this came out in 2010, or it took a few years, or obviously it could be financial reasons too. I mean, it's underground black metal after all. And yeah, and then a repress happened last year. I mean, someone posted from Famin. I don't know if it's Famin. I'm really bad at pronouncing shit, but yeah, saw people posting about there's a final repress, and came with a bonus track as well that I don't think is on the first press. You guys can see it. And yeah, I keep it in the shrink wrap because I haven't bought any plastic sleeves yet, but this actually works pretty well, not damaged at all. Show you guys the variant before I go into the vocals specifically. Yeah, there's a little booklet too, or a sheet. All right, so the variant is obviously very fitting, but translucent red, really pretty. I will say, when it comes to side A and B, you have to look really close at where it's like indented or engraved or whatever, and that's a bit funny. I mean, I wouldn't think it's that hard to just put A, B, or C. I mean, really, you could just put A and then C, and then you would know what's what. But anyway, I'm not complaining. I can still read it while I still have my eyesight. All right, show you guys. I think there's a booklet. No, I think this is it. Got that. Oh, that is the booklet. Never mind. I thought it was a sheet of paper. I'm like, I swear it opened up. No frogs were killed in the process of making this album. But all right, let's get to the vocals. So yeah, a lot of people, when it comes to Peste Noir fans, praise their debut as their favorite. Obviously, I'd say that's more popular. You got the infamous album cover from The Plague, and obviously that album was something new for that time. I mean, black metal's been around since the 80s. You had the peak in the 90s. And then 2006 hits and Peste Noir releases their debut. Obviously, I don't know how to fucking say that shit, but I can recognize it when I see it, written down. But yeah, so I've heard people claim that they only like their debut or it's their best. And once, this album came about, that's when they just stopped listening. As far as me, this is my favorite album. I love the debut. The third album actually took a little while to grow on me, but I really like it now. It's the riffs are great, the vocals. That's when it got super wacky, I'd say. The fourth full length, I've listened to a good amount, but really not enough, but I did enjoy it. And La Chase, or La Chasse, or whatever, I actually thought that was the fifth full length, but there's actually a self-titled that I still haven't heard yet. But I like La Chase, which is the sixth full length. So yeah, I like a good amount of Peste Noir material. I haven't listened to anything past La Chase. I've heard it gets even more wacky and stuff like that, which might not be a bad thing for me, but I'll get to it eventually. Definitely need to listen to the self-titled. But Folk Fuck Folly. So, oh, now it's so fucking dry. So I think the vocals are obviously very similar as to the debut, but because the music's a lot faster, a lot more chaotic, I guess a lot of these records I'm showcasing are chaotic. I guess there's a little difference between the vocals from this and the debut, but the vocals I think are just, I don't know, to me they're just the most grimy. I think grimy is a good word to put it. Just very ignorant, I guess, wacky as well. I think this album was the start of Peste Noir's wackiness and just kept getting enhanced throughout their disco. But yeah, the vocals, man, if I'd ever learn vocals, I mean, I wouldn't try to copy anybody, but I'd love for them to be as intense as this, because the vocals are just, like I said, grimy, gruesome. They're just very indistinguishable too. I mean, Famin has obviously very indistinguishable vocals. you'll know it. And even with albums like La Chasse or whatever, La Chasse, the vocals are obviously a lot different than on here in the debut, but they're still really good. You can still tell it's, you know, classic Pessy Noir regardless of the different vocal and music changes. But yeah, I think he really did his best vocal performance here. And obviously I love a lot of fast music. Even I love dewy music. I like slower parts and black metal. But I feel like with the music, the imagery, the atmosphere with the vocals, this just makes it hands down my favorite Pessy Noir record. And yeah, the vocals obviously play a huge role in that. I believe Folk Fuck Folly comes from a French folklore of a sewer monster, which the atmosphere, the imagery, the vocal take all makes sense. I did a little research on that, but you know, I haven't done enough extensive research to be spot on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes with a folklore sewer monster, and I think the vocals embodied that very perfectly. So this is why I'd rank Pessy Noir's sophomore record number 3 when it comes to vocal takes and all of black metal. Yeah, I mean, I was blown away when I first heard this. It was the second Pessy Noir album I ever heard after their debut, and that's when I saw another side, a more faster, more aggressive side. And yeah, that's how I knew I really liked Pessy Noir even more than I already did. And glad I own their first 2 albums. I definitely want to get more of their material for sure. Guys, now we're getting into the top 2. To be fair, anyone who's you know, seen what I post on Instagram or know me, probably gonna see these coming. But you know, I wanted to make a video on this anyway. And yeah, I mean, these are some of these 2 especially are some of my favorite metal, not just black metal, like metal albums ever. And definitely favorite bands ever. Just everything about them is perfection for me, down to the music, vocals, ideology, imagery, atmosphere. Everything is just perfection to me, and it really relates. And what's the word? It settles with me well. So we'll get to it. The next is a sophomore record by a Finnish band. Probably a lot of people consider it their crown jewel. It is Goatmoon's Finnish Steel Storm. Their sophomore record, like I said. I'll take it out of the plastic. So yeah, I definitely want to make a video of ranking Goatmoon albums, since I have the full lengths and I have a fair amount of splits and EPs. But yeah, I mean, this is peak fucking Finnish black metal. I probably prefer this more than any Satanic War Master record, even though I fucking love Satanic War Master. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite bands as well. We got 10 tracks, and yeah, I mean, let's not talk about the vocals for a second, but the lyricism, the melodies, like I said, the lyrics, the riffs. I mean, I'd say this is some of the best riffs in all of black metal, and with the folk elements added. Obviously, this is the first album where they added folk elements, and I think they did that so well. Yeah, all this together plus Black Goat's Hateful. Like, I think these vocals are way more hateful than any of the other past vinyl I've been through. Like, these are literally like agony, pain, yeah, pure hate basically. And I think all of these factors combined just, it really comes down to, this is what black metal's about. And it doesn't have to be the specific ideology or lyrics, just the emotion, the agony, the isolation that all comes from this record. And I think you hear all these elements off rip within like the first 30 seconds with Eclipse by Raven Wings. And it's crazy. The first 5 tracks are my favorite, and it's crazy because when I first heard this, I'm just like, holy fuck, banger after banger. Like, it's just like, can't do no harm, you know? And after Eclipse by Raven Wings, we have Alone, which is, you know, a fucking anthem. It's only just over 2 minutes, but the amount of emotion, riffs, and just the vocals, like all that to be done on a 2-minute span is pretty fucking impressive. That's why it's left its mark. Bitter Winter of Depression. Obviously, this probably has some of my favorite lyrics in the album. The riffs are just as good, like I said, but they're very melancholic, they're very depressive, but also triumphant in being in solitude, or proud to be in solitude, proud to be where I'm from, nationalistic and stuff like that. The next album or next song I believe is in German, which is another great song, one of my favorites. And then we get to the title track with probably my favorite Goatmoon song, but also probably my favorite vocal take when it comes to Black Goat. Or I lied. Let me say, Finish Steel Storm tied with Bitter Winter of Depression of my favorite, or Black Goat's vocals at their best. So Finish Steel Storm obviously starts with the most epic riffs ever, and it goes throughout the album. You have the keyboards. It's basically like taking back your country or taking back your pride or something like that when the I don't know how to describe it. Like you hear the keyboards in the background while he's, screaming and all that. It's such a build up. And then at the end, he says, "You better run." I forgot the lyrics. Probably shouldn't say them on YouTube anyway. But that last part, and then it plays the first riff again. It gives me goosebumps for sure. Like I said, this isn't just about vocals alone. Obviously, I'm not gonna just say a black metal album has the best vocals only for the vocals. Obviously, the music would have to match up with that because, this isn't some gay ass deathcore, metalcore shit where everyone's like jacking each other off, trying to do the craziest vocals, but the same monotonous and generic vocals or riffs, chugga chugga or whatever. This is black metal, so obviously riffs, musicianship, ideology, atmosphere are obviously priority over vocals. But if the vocals are as superior like they are on Goatmoon's sophomore record, then that just enhances it by a lot. But yeah, Finish Steel Storm's definitely probably one of my favorite black metal tracks ever. And then we got Immortals Winter, which is a good one. Probably one of my least favorites, which I still like. Murder, Murder, Glorious. That's a more aggressive, I guess they're all relatively violent, but that's just a bit more ignorant when he's screaming murder, murder, glorious. That's a great one. Mythical Story. I forgot who added the cleans, but that's just perfect. It's good to have some cleans in some black metal. Even if it's just a song or two, I think it's always really good, especially if the cleans are actually good. I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all have been in a situation where you'll like a black metal album, the music, the riffs, the screaming, and then you hear some cleans that are kind of like, kind of mid, and it's like, should have had someone else do some cleans that are actually good. But, Mythical Story is good. And then we have a song in Finnish that, I don't know what the fuck, I've actually never translated it, or maybe I have and I don't remember. But then we get to the album finisher, Forest of My Native Soil, which is also another of one of my favorites. I think that's kind of after the war, after the victory, and he's, reclaiming his territory, celebrating, being proud of being who you are and such like that, triumphantness. And yeah, I mean, that riff ending off the album, I think it starts the album with that riff, and then it kind of, something a little different about it at the end, I guess, just more, more melody, I guess, at the end. But yeah, that riff, I think, was the perfect thing to wrap everything up for this 10 out of 10 album. And yeah, back to the vocals. I mean, they're consistent throughout the whole thing. There's not one song where the vocals are lacking at all, at least to me. So yeah, I mean, this is just peak fucking Goatmoon, and this would be rank number 2. So yeah, we'll get on to the next one. Guys, now we're at the winner, number 1, probably my favorite vocal take, not just in black metal, probably all of extreme metal, at least when it comes to screaming, and definitely still one of my favorite metal albums ever. I did forget to show you guys the variant for the Goatmoon, but that's not really the point of this video. It's more so how I feel about the vocals. But if you want to know, it's a green LP. I think that was the most limited, but I mean, I kind of wish I just got the blue because, Finish Steel Storm, that would have made the more sense at it, and I didn't think of that at the time. I just kind of bought that shit. Anyway, so we're at rank number 1, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you know where I'm going, and yeah, we'll get to it. Rank number 1 of my all-time favorite vocal take in black metal, extreme metal would be Nocturnal Mortem's third album, Nechrist, or I don't know how to say the Ukrainian version, but it translates to Heathen. So you guys, the back. I mean, this is actually a super fucking long album. What was I gonna say? yeah, I mean, I guess you could consider it their fifth album if you consider Twilight Fall and Lunar Poetry full lengths. But if we're gonna be technical, their third full length. Show you guys what this all came with. Let's put the vinyls to the side. Yeah, they're just black LPs. Obviously, there's a repress announced like a week or two ago that I'm definitely gonna get. Just to get a fucking variant. And I've played this record so fucking much. I'd love to have a backup one. Just in case anything happens. It's one of my favorite records. And let's see here. So yeah, disregard that little scratch right there. One of my cats actually did that on my birthday, 2023. I remember I was in a really good mood, just getting fucked up in my room and drinking kratom, fucking blasting records all day. I was alone, but for some reason I was just in a really good fucking mood. I mean, at the time I was making pretty decent money with both jobs, and I was just buying all the records I wanted. So yeah, I was in a good mood. But yeah, my cat fucking scratched it right there. She's bitten and scratched a few records, which really fucking hurts my soul. But hey man, that's just the price you pay with having cats sometimes. But yeah, that's another reason I'll probably get the repress. And I'm definitely on the hunt for a first press of Nichrist. I get the CD, I get the cassette, I get the vinyl, I get all of it basically. So yeah, I can never have enough Nichrist material. I almost got actually a vintage shirt. The only reason I didn't do it, I was a seller from Facebook, but a bunch of people asked about it and turned out they didn't get it for some reason. And there was some confusion while I was talking to the dude, but wish I got it. It was my favorite OG Nichrist shirt. It had the AKs on the back, if you know what I mean. But anyway, Nichrist, Heathen. You got 10 tracks, UV hologram words, pretty cool. Show you guys inside. Support the war against total degeneration. Classic fucking statement from this album. Got the band right there. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of the nicest fucking vinyl I have, just regardless of the scratch. I mean, like I said, UV holo logo. This is probably one of my favorite. When it comes to like, Transylvania Hunger, Dark Throne type inspired albums, this is definitely my favorite. I mean, I'm sure the music plays a massive part, but the little fucking staff with the goat head on it is just fucking beautiful. And it works well with, being neo-pagan, folk instruments. But yeah, I guess we'll get to the music. And yeah, like I said, 10 tracks. The album's with the instrumental, or not the instrumental, the nature sounds for like 5 minutes. I think it's about an hour and 12 minutes. So yeah, pretty lengthy album. And I've probably listened to this thing the whole way through, cassette, CD, vinyl, online on YouTube, more times than I can possibly fathom. This is up there with Dissection, Storm of the Lights, Bane, Goat Moon. Like I said, this is one of my favorite albums created. And even though like I love all Nocturnal Mortem albums, Walton Chung's one of my favorite. Go Horns is one of my favorites. I love Twilight Fall. I like everything by this band. But yeah, I guess I'll tell you guys the story about this album before I get into the vocals. I mean, I know this video is getting kind of long, but I'll try to be quick and sum it up. So I got into Nocturnal Mortem. Like I said, I've only been into black metal for a little under 5 years, and I probably got into Nocturnal Mortem around 3-ish years ago. First album I ever heard, which I bought the vinyl, was Twilight Fall, which is pretty ironic because it's not really black metal. It's kind of all over the place. There's death metal aspects. There's even some doom, Then I fast forward, I found a Lunar Poetry CD at a record store on my birthday. I remember it was on my birthday, and I also found a first press Type O Negative Bloody Kisses cassette, and I got an unanimated vinyl too. It was like the day before my birthday. But yeah, I got that, and that's what really made me a fan, even though I liked Twilight Fall. Anyway, couple months after that, a bunch of reissues of Nocturnal Mortem vinyl. There wasn't this vinyl yet. This pressing came out before I was even collecting. And so I got the CD and cassette of this, and I got the vinyl of all the other albums that were available. Anyway, so I was reading reviews on Metal Archives of all their stuff because I actually hadn't heard a lot of their stuff besides their first 2 demos. And I was going to wait till I listened. But I was very excited because I've heard such good things about this band, and I listened to their first 2 demos and really enjoyed it. So I was super excited. And I was reading reviews, and I saw a lot of mixed reviews on good old Nichrist, a lot of bad ones, and I was reading through them, and I'm just like, that's interesting. And I saw the album was super long too. I'm just like, I wonder why so many people. And I heard some good reviews, but it was very mixed. It was either people love this album or fucking despise the album. Anyway, I decided to treat myself before the vinyl and CDs and cassettes came by picking one Nocturnal Mortem album I have on the way and hear it before I get the physical copy because I was that excited. most of the time I don't even do that. I was just that fucking excited. So obviously I choose good old Antichrist. So obviously this is the first album they use that trumpet, or not the trumpet, the horn, the battle horn or whatever. And yeah, then it just goes blaring into blast beats with the funeral wind born in Oriana. And yeah, I mean, you got the fucking hillbilly hoedown part on the first song, and that part kind of spooked me. I'm like, damn, what the hell's going on? I remember I was playing it on my old turntable. I mean, it's right in front of me. That's what my phone's on. Just the record player doesn't work, so I just use it for Bluetooth. But yeah, I was playing that, and I was just slowly absorbing the album. And honestly, I was just fucking blown away. And that's where we get to the vocals. I listened to it once, and then fast forward to the last song, you get to Perun Celestial Silver, which is a remake, obviously, of a song from Lunar Poetry. And at first, I didn't know what to think of it, but dude, the next day I put that on, like I was listening to it like multiple times a day before like the CD or cassette arrived. I got this later that year, I believe, on eBay. I found this for like 65 bucks. Yeah, dude, I mean, I was hooked. And I'm just thinking, like, why do people hate this fucking album? Obviously, this is where they got a bit more NS and controversial, and they continued that with Walton Chung. Yeah, sorry guys, my fucking mouth's so dry. I don't know where this is coming from. But yeah, dude, so the first thing I think that really made me drawn to this album was the vocals. Vargoth has done a number of vocal takes. Like I'd say, obviously, Twilight Fall and Lunar Poetry are different vocals for obvious reasons, and then even Lunar Poetry and Goat Horns and so on. There's always a little tweak. They get tweaked a little differently with each album. And god damn, my mouth's fucking dry, man. I got fucking water in here. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, then you hear the voice of Steel, Walton Chung. Those vocals are a bit different. But yeah, I mean, when I heard these vocals, and let me actually add, even the music and atmosphere is all different. Nocturnal Mortem never makes the same album, so that's probably why they're one of my favorites. But yeah, the vocals on this, man, they're just pure fucking hate. Like I know I said Pesty Noir, Goat Moon, those are all extremely great and hateful, whatever, but this takes the cake, obviously, that I'm ranking at number one. I mean, this album is just completely unstoppable. Once you hear track 4, The Call of Air and Spirit, I think that album or that song, I mean, the whole album, that song probably has, obviously the lyrics are super hateful, and I think those vocals, because I think some of, like all the vocal takes all the same, but some songs are definitely a little more hateful than others. But I think the most hateful ones are probably the first song, track 4, The Call of Air and Spirit, and Antichrist, Dance of Swords. I think those where his vocals are definitely very intensified, a little more than the rest. But yeah, I mean, I've never heard a song that hateful, so triumphant, so heavy, with also packing a bunch of emotion while being utterly raw, you know. And not to get off topic for the vocals, but the song structures on this literally make no fucking sense. Like that, I think that's what makes it so exciting, you know. The song structures are just fucking crazy. I mean, with The Call of Air and Spirit, you're spitting the most hateful thing ever, and then you have a flute breakdown out of nowhere, you know. It's funny. I was talking to this Hispanic chick a couple years ago, and I was showing her this album. She knew I love this album so much, and I played The Call of Air and Spirit. You know, she was cool. She didn't give a fuck, and really hot too. And the flutes happened, and she started fucking laughing. She liked it, but she started fucking laughing. I just kind of thought, I'm like, you know what? That is kind of fucking funny. And then I've like heard other people say it. I'm like, yeah, I guess it is funny. But I mean, I personally love the flute breakdown, man. I think it sounds badass, you know. But Night Before the Fight, obviously, that's a super heavy riff-oriented song. The riffs are probably some of the best. And yeah, I mean, just the vocals, the folk elements, the music, just everything about it is just pure perfection, I think. And that's why it's ranked number one. I know I could have said more about the vocals, but I would say just listen to yourself if you haven't. Track 9 is also one of my favorites. Antichrist, Dance of Swords is what it translates to my knowledge. And that I love that. I think his vocals sound great. I mean, the folk elements are great. That's just such an amazing song. Like that, I probably listened to that song just as much as track 4. But yeah, I'll show you guys the booklet real quick. Let's see. I forgot which one's the front. Yeah, I think this is the front. Yeah, really nice booklet. Really thicker paper. You got if I can do this. I don't know why I'm holding it like that. Got lyrics right there. Obviously, certain songs are a bit censored, which to me is really fucking silly because we all know it's too late. You know, you can't really, you know, do that. And I also wish they kept the OG artwork, but that's why I'm on the hunt for a first press. The artwork's still cool on this regardless. But yeah, really cool booklet. I don't know if you guys saw. Got a pentagram. It's kind of dark. It's like a gate door. But yeah, that's what I'd rank number one of probably my favorite vocal take in really all of extreme music. The vocals are perfect, and like I said, if it weren't, if it were just the vocals and I didn't like the music, it wouldn't really mean anything. But anyway. I have one more record I'm going to quickly go over. It's an honorable mention because I really wanted to include this. I just wanted to do a top 5, and I think 6 would be a little weird. Even though it's my fucking video, I could have done it anyway, but fuck it, we'll do an honorable mention. So the honorable mention of vocal takes would be Archgoat's The Luciferian Crown. Take it out real quick. This is actually the first Archgoat record I ever gotten into. I had an ex actually get me into Archgoat. She got me into a lot of cool black metal, but got some song, yeah. So obviously Lord Angel Slayer probably has the craziest vocals in all of Black and Death, I think. I mean, Archgoat, when it comes to Black and Death, Archgoat is supreme. And yeah, I mean, with songs like Jezebel's Black Mass Orgy and Sorcery and Doom, those are my 2 favorite tracks. They're just fucking, they're scary, honestly. Not that they scare me, but to someone who wouldn't listen to extreme music, even people who listen to like metalcore, they'd probably be like, God damn, that shit's fucking, guttural and demonic. But this also, I'll show you guys the LP real quick. My ex actually got this for one of my birthdays, and she got me a really cool variant, super limited one. Definitely will cherish that, even though it ended like shit. But yeah, I mean, comes with awesome art. Got the title or the logo, and yeah, I mean, this is just an honorable mention. I was really debating doing this between Conqueror and Archgoat. Maybe I could have done Conqueror for an honorable mention, but you know, too fucking late. But yeah, just wanted to include this. Archgoat's one of my favorites as well. And I think the vocal, especially when it comes to more guttural type vocals, I think Archgoat does it best. Like, I'd say the vocals on this are better than most death metal gutturals. Like, I'd say this is on par with like Chris Barn Cannibal Corpse, or even if you like Corpse Grinder, better on par with that as well. I mean, these vocals are pure fucking destruction. But yeah, just wanted to go over that quickly. So yeah, this video is a bit long. I'm not really editing things anymore, so I don't really, whatever, as long as it fucking uploads right. So yeah, a preview will go on my TikTok and Instagram, which is TikTok and Instagram, which is Antichrist Vomit Chalice. I'll definitely add a little thing with all the names, and obviously it's for my YouTube, Deathspells_666. If you stuck all the way through to watch this longer video, I really appreciate it. Thank you.